it gets untrapped, or like it could get untrapped. So essentially the only way to fix that is surgery. Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below before you go. To start this video off, I do just want to say that the baby is perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with the baby. The surgery will be after the baby is born, and as you can tell from the title, I'm gonna have to have surgery. The story starts a few days ago. I was having some really bad contractions. I almost debated, I was debating calling Dante home and going to labor and delivery because I thought it could be preterm labor. But I started having some really bad cramps, and I kind of feel like what I was having with Cohen, which was prodromal labor. I had prodromal labor with him for like 24, from like 24 weeks on or something like that. And essentially I was having contractions also because I was dehydrated, which can cause contractions. And these just feel like contractions, but they feel like prodromal labor, which is like real labor, not Braxton Hicks, but nothing that's progressive. But I am only 31 weeks and oh my god. It's like in my back too, and I've never had that. This is my 4th full-term pregnancy, and I've never had back labor. I've had back pain, but even like I've had people tell me that they've had back pain when they had Braxton Hicks, and when they were in real labor. My sister had back pain when she was in labor with her first, at least, and I feel it in my back. Like it feels like it's here and then all the way up, but it's mostly right here. You guys can't even see. It's mostly right here and the sides here. It just all feels very tight, and I'm very uncomfortable. This feels like it might have to be a hospital thing because obviously I'm way too early to be having contractions or giving birth. Like it's way too early. So I'm just kind of waiting to see if they get worse or if they just kind of like stop. And you're watching Maui? You are watching Maui. So that's what we're doing right now. We are waiting to see if they get worse or if they just stop altogether. We're praying for the second one. I really thought I was in labor. They hurt a lot, but I moved downstairs and I drank some extra water. They were definitely not Braxton Hicks. I've had Braxton Hicks. I've also had prodromal labor. When I was pregnant with Cohen, it definitely felt very different. So I went downstairs. I was like hanging out with the kids, drinking water, and they didn't get worse, and they were super inconsistent. So I just kind of like decided to like continue to wait and see. And within like a couple hours, they ended up kind of just going away. And I was like, okay, you know what? That's amazing. Yesterday morning, I woke up at 4 a.m. with the worst contractions I've ever had. I'm talking, this will be my 4th birth. I've had 3 births, and these contractions were wild. They were so painful. I could not get comfortable. I could not talk through them. I could not breathe. They were like 30 seconds apart. I really thought I was in labor. I was absolutely panicked. I woke up Dante. We did end up going to labor and delivery because they just wouldn't calm down. I kind of thought that they were going to be like the same way as before. So I'm like praying that there's something else, that it's completely a different thing. It can't be labor. I go to labor and delivery. They think it's preterm labor. I guess she said that there's a swab that they could do. It has to be like the first swab they do. It can like tell you, I can't even remember how she explained it. Essentially, she said that it would help them determine if I was at risk of preterm labor. I'm not really sure how that works. She said that they thought it could be preterm labor, and my brain automatically went to like, it can't be, it's too early. I wasn't really listening to like her explain how it works. It was just more of like a, okay, do it, let's know. They also tested for infections, and they did urine sample for infections. All of that came back clean. The preterm labor thing was negative, but because they thought I was having preterm labor contractions, I was having them like in the back, like back pain, like contractions as well, and then like the side as well here. So because of all of those things, they thought it was preterm labor, which meant she was going to check my cervix to see if I was dilating as well. I am a centimeter dilated, which makes me a little nervous. I know, okay? People sit at a centimeter dilated for like 3 centimeters dilated, and like they're not in active labor. But my personal experience with Levi, I didn't have a cervical check until I was literally 7 centimeters in labor and giving birth. With Jackson, he, like my OBGYN checked me. I was 1 centimeter at his office. He sent me for my induction. Like by the time I got there, which was like maximum 2 hours, I was already 3 centimeters dilated, and then I literally stayed at 3 centimeters dilated until they did my induction. So like, I know you can sit there, but it makes it more real, like how fast like this is happening. And then Cohen, I wasn't dilated at all until my induction. So I know that it's like a big thing. Like you can sit at a, what do I even say there? A big thing. I know that you can sit at a 1 for a long time, but because I'm only 32 weeks, it does kind of like give me a little anxiety to know that I already am dilated. So that's making me a little nervous, especially because I've had a ton of cervical pressure and pain. Like it feels like, I've explained it to Dante as like as if I'm getting like a piercing on my cervix. Like it's sharp pain. And then a lot of pressure and a lot of things that I just kind of like thought were pregnancy because we've done this before, which apparently are not. I mentioned she did my cervical check. She said I was 1 centimeter. She also said that I have a prolapsed pelvis, which the way she explained it is essentially it's like a pocket. So instead of my pelvis sitting like this, it's sitting like this, and like urine can get trapped, and I'm at like risk for infections and UTIs, like frequent UTIs, because urine can get trapped. That like if I stand up after like going pee, like I'll have to go again because it gets untrapped, or like it could get untrapped. So essentially the only way to fix that is surgery. Basically what she said they'd have to do is take out a portion of it and then like stitch it back together. So they have to like actually remove a piece to like fix the prolapse. I definitely think it came from this pregnancy, because a lot of the things that she was explaining that are from a prolapse, or like that I could be experiencing from it, are things that I thought were just pregnancy related this time around, which are obviously not anymore. I know that now. She did, however, say I could essentially live my whole life with it and not have any problems, but eventually it could cause me pain. The UTIs, the infections, all of those type of things could be common. And I guess in Canada, it's like a 2-year wait list that you have to get on for something like that, for like the specialists and stuff. So I'm gonna get on it after I have the baby. I do have to wait. I'm not willing to risk the infection or the constant UTIs, because that sounds like a nightmare. I think I'd rather just have the surgery, even though surgery freaks me out so badly. I think I'd rather just have the surgery and have it done and over with, compared to like never knowing and like having to deal with these things and like having like, oh, one day it doesn't hurt, but like today it does. I'm also not gonna know what it's like until after I have the baby, because right now the baby's putting additional pressure on it. So I'm not really sure how bad it's gonna be after I have the baby, if it's gonna be like 10 times better. She did say that they recommend waiting until you're done having kids, just because if I do have the surgery and then I get pregnant again, my pelvis could prolapse again, and then that would just be like obviously counterproductive. That being said, it has me just decide that this is our last baby for sure. Me having the surgery and like living a more comfortable life and not at risk of having UTIs or infections all the time, or getting them. Like I said, I don't know what it's going to be like until after I have the baby. So either getting them or being at higher risk isn't worth it for me. So we are going to be booking Dante's vasectomy, because I'm not, it's also incredibly painful. Like she told me that the prolapsed pelvis is the reason that I've been having the contractions, because of where the baby's sitting and he's putting pressure on it. It's causing like the cramp like feeling, but then like the actual like pelvis pressure is causing even more of an intense pain for like the contraction. I don't really know, I'm not a medical professional, but that's essentially how it was explained to me. So it's causing more painful contractions, more painful like Braxton Hicks or whatever else, and then it's causing a lot of like my hip problems because it's not sitting where it's supposed to, and then it's also causing my pelvic pressure, pain. Like my pelvic bone feels bruised, like more bruised than it ever has. And now it makes sense as to why I have a hard time like walking, and just even like having another baby sounds miserable if it's gonna be like that my entire pregnancy. This is only relatively recent, within like the last couple months, that I've really been like, oh wow, like that's different. But like, so is every pregnancy that I've really noticed it. So even just having a whole pregnancy without having the surgery sounds like a nightmare to me, and like painful. And then like on top of having like 3 other kids, and then like not having the surgery, or wait, sorry, and then having the surgery and then getting pregnant again all sounds like a nightmare, because I don't want to have the surgery again if it were to happen. And apparently that's my luck. So I will be having surgery after the baby's born. Honestly, as soon as they can get me in, I would like to be able to go for it, because I'd like to fix the problem before it becomes a bigger problem, which is essentially what it could do. It could also affect like old age, she was saying. Like if I chose not to treat it, it could just affect older age. So I am gonna treat it. It is gonna be our last baby for medical purposes, which is probably for the best physically for my body. It's been through a lot in the last handful of years. I'm kind of taking this happening as our sign that like, okay, this is it. You guys are good. You guys are good. This is what you're meant to have. This is as many as you're meant to have. It's just unfortunate because I am nervous about having the surgery. One of my biggest fears is being put under and not remembering, and like, I don't know, as a girl with anxiety, that kind of scares the crap out of me a lot. But essentially that is the rundown of things. That is the new information that we have learned the last little bit. The baby will be okay. It changes nothing with them. I just can't get the surgery until after the baby is born. But yeah, I will have to have surgery because I have a pelvic prolapse, which sucks. But anyways, that is the update. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow in our next video. Bye guys.